What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and in this video I have built my friend half of a Necron army because that's what Games Workshop was just ramming down our throats very recently before 10th edition. So with that in mind, I've got 500 points to paint and then give away, which we're going to see all in this video, and we'll get his reaction on it as well. And here you can see the army all around me. I'm not quite sure where my head's going yet, but it's going to be a floaty bobbly thing. So I've got some close quarters for my friend. I've got some flayed ones because cool. Factor, rule of cool, flayed ones. We've got our Royal Warden. He's going to be our Warlord. We've also got some Scarabs. We've got the big lumbery, spidery, scorpiony thing at the back there, and 15 warriors, both with the Gauss rifles and I believe the Tesla rifles or Tesseract rifles or whatever they call them these days. I'm sure you'll fact correct me in the comments below. So the next thing we need to do with this army is get it prepared, get it painted, and for that I'm going to be using this lovely AK base coat. Again, not sponsored, it's just a really good paint. So once they are all base coated, I'm going to then use my airbrush to cover them all in this metallic silver that you can see me using. Now I'm going to use my airbrush to help me along with this journey because I want to get this done in a relatively timely manner without sort of getting to that point of, ugh, really another Necron. I'm sure you know that feeling when you're painting an army. Sometimes you're just sort of feeling that restricted that you have to go, oh god, So I'm going to use all the tools that I've got available to me in order to paint these. Although this stuff goes on really well with just a brush as well. So you can use an airbrush if you've got one. You can use a brush if you've got one. I'm just speeding up my process for my hobby time. Get an airbrush, dude. They're not that expensive anymore. So now I'm going to be coming in with Familiar Pink from the Army Painters 2.0 speed paint, which works really nice as a sort of like a filter layer of paint, so I can still see that metallic underneath but use it in a way to give a nice soft underglow before we start painting over the top, to give it that sort of pink feeling to it, because this is one of the colours that my friend has asked for and has said that he likes. One of his favourite colours is pink, so that's why we're going to be giving them a nice pink glow instead of a green glow like most people are used to just give this army its own unique feel to it, which I think is going to look really cool at the end. So I'm just coming in, putting this mostly as an underglow, but also trying to get it where in its eyes and through that rib cage and where the weapon glow is on these models. Now, if you don't have an hairbrush, again, this might be slightly trickier to do this, but I'm sure it may be possible. So the plan here now is to build up a nice bit of texture and sort of varying colours to sort of give that sort of that 60 million year old feel to these Necrons, because that's how long a lot of them have been hiding in their tomb worlds, 60 million years. So they're not exactly the newest toy out of the package, and they're going to have a bit of verdigris and a bit of sort of decay to these metals, or I would like to think. So to build up that texture, I'm using a sponge to dab on the paint, so also cover up where I've gone wrong with putting on that Familiar Pink and to hide areas I didn't quite want glowing. So this is what we're going to do with Rune Lord Brass and then Canoptic Alloy. So that Canoptic Alloy is then going to go on the top as like the highlight colour. So now we're going to be moving away from our airbrush and on to just using our normal paintbrush. And we're going to be starting with AK Interactive's Deep Purple. We're then going to move on to AK Interactive's Magenta and then Citadel White Scar, because I'm trying to use up my white paints from Citadel so I can move on to other brands such as Army Painter or AK Interactive. I just find they're much better paints. So once we've got our deep purple down in all the areas that I want to accent to really sort of stand out against that metallic colour. We will then be sort of moving on to the magenta to then start adding a highlight, and then we're going to put some white on top, and that will be for later when we get to using a different colour to really make it pop. And that final colour will be AK Interactive's fluorescent magenta. Once this is gone on, it's really going to give that glowing OSL effect to make this army really, really stand out on the battlefield and amongst other Necron armies put side by side, because, and I know I'm a great fiend for this, it's painting your army to look like the box art. It's good, you know, it's nothing wrong with that, but I'm quite jealous that I'm going to be giving this away because it really does stand out that little bit extra. So once we've done that, I'm going to, and this is all dried, I'm going to be then putting some washes on this to tarnish it up a bit and continue with trying to make him again look 60 million years old, because that is something that again we are trying to accomplish with this army. And for that I'm going to be using Agrax Earthshade, and these are still bottles of the old mixture, so if you're using the newer stuff, it will look similar but may not have that sort of the exact same finish, because I think the finishes are slightly different between the old stock and the new stock, and I've been very sparing with the bottles that I've got. And we're also going to use some insert name somewhere. The oxides, the fuck is it called? Anyway, it's a technical paint. It makes metals look old and tarnished. So we'll be adding some of that onto the wet paint of the Agrax Earthshade to help it all sort of disperse across the model, and so we're not getting too high a concentration of those colours. Then I'm going to go over it with some sponges again and the brush just to pick out some more details until I'm happy with the finished product. Then we're going to be adding the basing, and the basing I wanted to get just black rocks, so I've used Geek Gaming Scenics, Volcanic Ash or Volcanic Rock, because it's all black, and then I'm going to be really diluting and watering down this fluorescent magenta from AK Interactive and adding that into the mixture while the glue is still drying to sort of give it that glow from underneath, so it looks like underneath the rocks there is that glow coming up. And this is how I'm going to finish and how I'm going to paint this entire army. Oh, I was going to sneeze. So this is quite nice. We've got, well, got my friend Will's camera set up here. So notice the quality change.
Yeah.
Especially if we dip over to my camera over here. Looking at this lovely industrial box. You've all seen what's inside here, but he hasn't seen it just yet.
I'm super excited.
Well, what are you excited for from this?
I don't know, do they know that we work together?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we talk all the time at work, and I've been interested in Warhammer since, I don't know, a young age. Played all the games on PS2, but it's a small world down here, and there's never anyone to play with, and now's the time. But like he said, not everybody wants to fork out a massive amount of money to start a hobby. I certainly don't.
Exactly, it's a very expensive hobby, and that's well put. I said this in my intro and probably a couple of other times throughout this video. There's not a lot of people down here to really play with, unless you go and live in the town centres or the city centres. There's a lot of rural areas down here, so yeah, getting my friend involved in this by all the models that Games Workshop has shoved down my throat, I'm about to shove down his throat. So.
Thank you.
That's right. And what are your favourite colours? Go over those again, just quickly, just so that they can hear that I haven't made this choice myself.
Well, as you can tell, my favourite colour is pink. I love pink. It is a man's colour, don't be afraid of it. And like we said, we were talking, and I said to him, if I was ever going to have a Warhammer army, it's got to be pink. You've got to stand out. When it comes to blood and guts, there's nothing like a little bit of flamboyance to chuck in there as well.
Oh, well, really, we should introduce you to the Emperor's Children.
Okay.
Chaos Army, their armour is actually pink.
Uh-oh.
So, there's something for you to fork out into later. So, time for what I think could be quite a nice little point to put the grand reveal. Go onto my camera, have a bit of use out of what I paid for in the And are you ready to see?
Let's do it.
Your
Go
army?
on. Let's do it.
Here we go.
Oh wow, you got him turning as well. Oh my goodness. What have you done? This is incredible.
So, everyone watching here, they'll know they've just been through the whole process of me painting these up. The tests that I've done to sort of get to this point, and my main focus really has been keeping to a little bit of lore friendly, keeping them metallic, keeping that metal on there.
Well, you're telling me pink is in the lore for the old Necrons here?
Well, I think they're more of a green faction, but actually it looks stunning in this pink.
It really stands out.
If we just remove this big boy here, I'm just going to put him down there. We've so I've done you some flayed ones, nice little bit of close combat. I've tried to keep a little bit of the lore accurate with them, and I've got some nice gore on them for you.
Oh, is that strands of guts?
Strands of guts.
Oh my god, I have heard of flayed ones before, but that's gruesome and pink at the same time. It's juxtaposed, that's for sure. Wow, that's insane. We're going to chuck in B-roll here so that you guys can see it up close, but that's an incredible little bit of skill there, mate. Well done.
Lovely. Glad you enjoyed that one. So that's your up front in your face part, and these are your warriors. So again, standard army troops of the Warhammer verse are going to be going up against your Necrons. Have you got an idea? So they're normally called. They come from tomb worlds, and they're in like their crypts. What are they in? So they call them. I'm total mind blank.
Mausoleums.
Mausoleums, yeah, a little bit.
Catacombs.
Tomb worlds. So
worlds.
That's it. Tomb worlds. So normally Necrons are called after they take certain battle stratagems from their tomb world that they are a part of, or that sect that they are from. So we're going to have to come up with a little bit of homebrew lore for.
Do they get a name?
You can give them whatever name you want. These are now your models.
This is Sphinx Squad.
Sphinx Squad.
Yeah, and they're coming for you. Okay.
Suppose I better watch out. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. It's going to be fun. Do they know what's coming next?
I think the next part is we're going to have a battle.
Yeah.
But to do that, I need to build a battle board. And I've heard you've got a nice sized garage downstairs, because I'm not going to do that in my attic.
We do. we got garage and we got cameras.
There we go.
And time, lots of time, and money, lots of money on Games Workshop. Take our money now.
Yeah, so we're off to get those 3D printers fired up to the Games Workshop to go buy some terrain.
Yeah.
And to probably to B&Q to buy some wood.
Sounds about right.
Some wood and some plaster. Maybe some nails. That's what normal blokes buy in there, isn't it?
My wife's going to love my new hobby.
Oh, well, you know, just tell her every time you buy new paint, she can have new nail polish. That was probably sexist.
She'll get used to it.
Sample colours for painting the nails.
Yeah.
Well, if you've got any more questions,
I think yeah, I'm ready to go.
I think you guys in the comments, you're going to want to follow this through. So now that we've got the army, I need to build my army for this as well. That'll be coming in a later video. And then we've got the building of a battle board. I'm going to put all my diorama techniques and strategies into building a battle board that's going to be like a diorama in itself. There's going to be some Easter eggs hidden away, probably some sniper teams crouching into wherever, or watch out for goblins hiding in the shadows. Because we all know what Gretchen get up to when the orcs aren't looking. Anyway, guys, that's all to come. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
I knew you was going to say that.
I've been saying that for longer than most other YouTubers.
Oh, you.
I felt like I coined that term.
That's your term. Right, let's get some sex.